You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark. As we know, she's taken the WNBA by storm. And she's also captured sort of the imagination of the sports world. People have really gotten behind her. People really support her. And guys, in case you don't know, somebody we've been very critical of over the years is Antonio Brown. Now, I've always been fair about the fact that I think he's a Hall of Fame wide receiver. All right, I've never tried to hide that, even when I've had to crush Antonio Brown for doing something or saying something despicable or stupid. I will say this, he's become the best follow on Twitter/X. He's hilarious, but he is rude and crude, and I'm not easily offended. And we've also found out that politically, the man is just as sane as you can possibly get. Okay, Antonio Brown, certainly we align on politics. We know that. I have not loved some of the things he has said about Caitlin Clark. All right, I don't love it. And he had a very high-profile interview with Jason Whitlock, a guy you guys know I like a lot, guy I've been consuming and watching for probably over 20 years now, the ESPN days, very early on. Now he's with Fearless over at the Blaze. Well, he had Antonio Brown on. By the way, Antonio Brown co-signed to Trump during that interview, that now bombshell interview that's starting to go everywhere. And weirdly enough, there's part of me that believes Antonio Brown's actually a good guy that's got some real demons. All right, I've seen Jason Whitlock is taking some shrapnel for even to having done this interview. People are like, why are you platforming him? Well, look, Antonio Brown has got like 4 million followers on Twitter at this point, and most of his posts get 500,000 impressions or more, and many of them get millions. So Antonio Brown's platformed whether anybody likes that or not. The other thing is, if Jason Whitlock, who we know is very big on the godly aspect of things, well, if you can't reach somebody like Antonio Brown, what's the point? You know, that's specifically the kind of person that you're hoping to influence and be able to help. All right? Antonio Brown seems like he's trying to head down the right road. Now, I don't love the wording of this heading because I've seen what he said, and I listened to it. And it was like he tried to extend an olive branch to Caitlin Clark and let her know. He went to her game the other night. He was in the stands at her game. He bought a ticket to go see her play because he thinks she's like arguably the best athlete going right now, especially on the women's side of sports. But he made some comments in this interview towards Caitlin Clark, and they were very nice comments, and right at the end, it goes off the rail, okay? And he said something. He's always talking about a particular portion of her body, and it just doesn't. It would have been the perfect thing for Antonio Brown to have said in this interview addressing her until the end, and he jacks it all up, right? And I'm not offended by what he's got to say just because I'm not easily offended. But there's just no point of saying it. It doesn't make sense. So, anyway, you can take this for what it's worth and however you want to take it. I notice a lot of people are even amongst the same communities, political ideologies, this, that, and the third, are very split on Antonio Brown and how to take him. So, take that for what it's worth. I got a cat that is playing with her ball under my desk. Antonio Brown targeted Caitlin Clark with another crass comment or remark as he addressed his feud with the WNBA star during an interview with Jason Whitlock. Well, actually, it's not a feud. She blocked him, okay? So there's not a lot of back and forth there. All right, she just blocked him. I can't say I blame her. Like I said, I follow him. He's hilarious sometimes. I mean, it's 3 or 4 times a day. I'm openly out loud laughing at something he's put up. But he says some things that will offend a lot of people. There's no doubt about that. And I'm not going to come on here and bitch about a lot of that because I think people are overly offended already about everything. Brown continued his attack on the number 1 draft pick with a series of insults on social media, including a crash meme referring to Clark's boyfriend, which led to the 22-year-old blocking him on social media. So, he was on with Whitlock, and this is what he said about Caitlin Clark. Specifically, there I am in the comments. I don't know what it is AB has got on, but it looks like, as I said here, he's preparing for a Road Warrior, Blade, or Purge audition. He's literally got some, shoulder pads on, like he's ready to go to battle with something.
We agree on Angel Reese. I would love for you to just take your sunglasses off for one moment
Okay.
and tell Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
What's in your real heart for Caitlin Clark? I want to bring peace to you and Caitlin Clark.
Oh, yeah. Caitlin Clark, we love you. There's no drama here. I'm excited about what you're going to do for women's basketball. You're an amazing player. I love to watch your game. It brings a lot of excitement and energy. Never mind CTS, ESPN. We'll love to have you talk, express what you deal with, your traumas, your adversities, how you continue to be great. From people like me in the media bringing awareness to you, maybe the wrong or the right. It's all in positivity. It's all in fun and games. And continue to be great. Continue to keep focused of being the best athlete you want to be. Continue to lead women's sports, pioneering it the way you want to pioneer it. I have a daughter. They look up to you and look up to everything you guys are doing. So shout out to you, Caitlin Clark. And if it's Harry, don't worry about it.
And you can see the full interview. Obviously, Whitlock's got a YouTube channel. He's got a podcast. I'm subscribed to it. Have been forever. It was perfect until the end. And then the wheels fell off and just rolled off over into the ditch. Right? And it's like AB cannot get out of his own way at all. I'm like, man, this is exactly the kind of thing AB, I mean, he's addressing it. It's going really well. And then right at the end, the wheels fall off, right? And, a lot of people just don't have use for that kind of sort of vulgarity. And I get it. I'm not offended necessarily by a lot of things, but I understand there's just no reason for it in the context that we're talking about, all right? Caitlin Clark seems like the very straight and narrow all-American girl, which is exactly what the WNBA greatly needed and is why you're seeing so much popularity around her. I give Whitlock credit for doing this interview. You could tell a lot of people are mad at him for doing it. I don't get that. Sit down and talk to exactly AB is the kind of person I want to hear because he's going to say some wild, interesting things. He's also going to offend you. There's no doubt about that. None. So I can't come on here and act like, well, I really enjoyed Tom Brady's roast, which, by the way, I'm an hour into. It's 3 hours long. I'm an hour into. And it is wildly offensive, and it is hilarious, and it is fantastic, and it absolutely craps all over political correctness. Well, that's all Antonio Brown is doing these days, is crapping all over political correctness. But then it's this kind of thing. I think he believes he was saying something very nice. But then he's like, I got to interject some really raw humor at the end, and it just doesn't work always. Like this. It doesn't work. Right? Tell me what you think, black and white sports supporters. I think Antonio Brown, in his way, I think he's a huge Caitlin Clark fan. I mean, he doesn't go out of his way to buy a ticket and cheer her on. And he put some post out there about the fact that the crowd was nuts over her. He enjoyed watching her, blah, blah, blah. And then he's rooting for her. But it's just the vulgarity stuff that people just it just doesn't make any sense when it comes to her, you know? Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.